and comfort. So some of y'all who are prophets out there, you was like, well, shoot, my word don't always be edifying, exhortation, and comfort, right? Because you walk in a different office, you walk in a different dimension of the prophetic. So you're going to get more. You're going to be more seasoned. You're going to get more direct words. You're going to get more words that make be words of wisdom, word of knowledge. You're going to get more words that may be even warnings. So it may be hard for you to function in a prophetic team setting, but you have to allow your spirit to be trained in that area, because that's how you grow when you begin to move into the office of the prophet. So it's important to continue to be trained in a prophetic area with a prophetic team. To be honest, that's how my gifts grew, because exercising of use is what's going to make your gift grow. If you never exercise it, then you will lose it if you don't use it. I tell people that all the time. You will notice that there's a drought there. You will lose it if you don't use it, if you don't function. That's why what I'm going to incorporate this year with the company of prophets is that we're going to do something every quarter to get the prophets to exercise their gifting. Because if they don't stay in that type of environment, and sometimes it's good to do it in community, maybe somebody who you're not always doing it with, because it stretches you. So the Lord is putting a demand on me now to stretch the prophets in a different way, that we're going to have those calls where we come together on a quarterly basis, and we're coming together with a whole bunch of prophets, and we're going to prophesy, and we're going to exercise that dimension, because it has to get stretched and go to, in order to go to another level. You can't stay at the same place and around the same environment, and you want to grow to different levels. All right. So the prophet can provide guidance, correction, and direction. It is one of the fivefold ascension gifts of Christ, according to Ephesians 4, 7 through 8 and 11. They do not operate from a gift of prophecy, but out of a mantle given by the Lord himself. It is a governmental gift. The prophet's call is more than prophesying. It is more governing, establishing, unlocking. Like we talked about yesterday, the prophet has the ability to unlock gifts. The prophet has the ability to create. We talked about foretelling, where you are able to create the future according to the grace of God. You're able to create it because the Spirit of the Lord is talking to you about creating something that's already in the mind of God, and you partner with him to make that happen. And the prophet's call is also about legislating and executing. So these are phenomenal words for the prophet, which help get us out of our comfort zone of only thinking that we stay in the dimension of prophesying. But there's an administrative governmental call there that would allow us to legislate, execute, create, unlock, establish, and govern. Woo! I feel the Holy Ghost on that. So many years we have been boxed into just prophesying, and we go home to glory from that mantle of just prophesying. But if you have a true prophet that have been trained, nurtured, developed, that prophet should be able to stand on the church council and be able to give wisdom to the apostle or to the pastor, and even help the pastor in recruiting and even grow the church, because they are so dynamic in what they know, that they can give perspectives beyond just the normal person, because they stand as a staff prophet that can help improve the ministry and cause the ministry to grow, because now they're at levels to move in that dimension, that they're not just flowing from a low level of just prophetic words, just personal prophetic words or corporate prophetic word, but now they're standing in their governmental authority to cause that church to shift in places they could have never shift, because of that developed, growing, nurtured, under authority prophet that stands next to that apostle or stand next to that pastor and help push the vision that God has given them. So there's a lot more to being a mantle prophet. than prophesying. There's a lot more to being a mantle prophet than just being in the inside of the walls of the church. But those prophets that God have anointed in this day have the ability to go into the marketplace and cause kingdom economics to come into the house of God, to turn things over for God, like Joseph and Daniel, to be in the marketplace and in the Babylonian systems and causing those systems to shift into change. You have those type of prophets that God is raising up that need to be trained to that level. But if they don't understand their mantle and they don't understand what else is a part of their mantle, they will never become anything greater than just church prophets that prophesy. But you have the key and the power to make change happen in the economy, in your nation, in your region, and even in your municipalities. Because God is speaking to you just like he spoke to Joseph. God spoke to Joseph about the affairs of the world, not only just the affairs of somebody's house, but he spoke to him about the affairs of the world. He helped him get things in order for the future growth of the church. God is calling on those prophets. So the fourth dimension of the prophetic is the prophetic presbytery.